What's up, guys? Today we are going to start working on the drift trike. It's also another important day because this is the first video I'm going to be shooting with both the GoPro and the DSLR. So I apologize ahead of time if some of the camera work looks kind of weird. I'm basically trying to figure out the best way I can bring you guys high quality videos and show you some of the detail and stuff. And the best way to basically go about doing that. So I apologize ahead of time if this one isn't quite as polished. We're going to get better using the DSLR. So I didn't make a video on it because it's not a big deal, but I basically installed a hitch, like for a truck from Harbor Freight to this wooden post. And then I bought a vise, and then I bought a hitch mount for the vise, and basically just bolted it all together, so now I have a vise to work on. And what we're going to do is, starting this drift trike project, basically we need to strip down this to the raw frame. So I'm going to take off the whole front end, the rear end, the pedals and stuff. We're going to take everything off. We're going to grind it basically down, and then we're going to use our plasma cutter to basically remove this bar, and then these upper bars. So all we'll be left with is basically this head stem, this lower bar, this part right here, and this right here. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut out a plate to fit in here, and that's where the seat is going to mount. And we're going to put a block back here, and that's where the rear subframe is going to be welded to. Unfortunately, my TIG welder still doesn't come in at the time I'm shooting this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut everything out. I'm probably going to just tack into place with my MIG welder, my crappy little 90 amp Harbor Freight job. And then when the TIG welder comes in, I'm going to weld everything up properly. And I'm probably going to be ordering all of the important parts and stuff next week. So we have that to look forward to as well. But other than that, I'm just going to start tearing this down, and we'll see kind of what it looks like in bare form. Now, bikes are pretty straightforward compared to the stuff I normally work on day to day, and so this should be pretty straightforward. Alright, so we got this frame stripped down. I got this stuff just zip tied out of the way. Basically, we're going to be cutting apart this tube right here, this tube connection right here, and then basically we're going to cut off these upright tubes here. Actually, we're going to cut off basically just right here to this thinnest point, and then use this flat surface to make our mount beam. But first, before I can start cutting anything, I really got to take this down to bare metal. So I'm going to clean up my tools here a little bit, and then I'm going to grab the flap disc, and then we're just going to go to town with it. And there she is, our bare naked frame. So what's going to happen is you're going to have the drift trike basically with this part flat, and this is where the wheel's going to come down. You're going to put your feet on the wheels. Then this part will be flat, and there will be a piece back here that's going to support the rear subframe basically. So get this cleaned up a little bit more. Then we'll cut a piece for the back right here and weld it in, or tack it in for now and weld it in later. So first things first, we're going to use a tape measure and an ink pen, and we are going to basically measure out this distance right in here, and we are going to cut it out of this square tubing right here. And so what we'll do is we'll make a brace right here. We'll tack it in real quick. Then we will cut off the ends of these metal pieces so that they're basically flush with the end of this. And then we will build our box for the axle off of that. And then of course we will cut out a metal triangular piece that will basically sit on here that'll act as the mount for the seat. We're going to plasma cut that out of a piece of sheet metal over here. But in a minute. But first we're going to take care of this thing right here. Alright, so now we're going to make the first cut with the plasma cutter. We're going to cut through this. This is going to make this back plate. Obviously then we're going to trace it out and narrow it down. There we go. You see that second half of the cut was a lot straighter when I was using the guide. So it's another lesson learned. So now we are going to cut out the shape, basically put this piece down on that one and traced it. And so now we got to try to plasma cut as close as we can along this line. We'll clean it up with the grinder and then just basically just tack weld it in place. And I think part one we can say is done. So there's the piece we plasma cut. You know, is it perfect? Absolutely not. But I'm going to grind these edges down. We're going to basically clean up the metal here and on the sides. We're going to tack weld it in place, then give it a few more grinds to get it all cleaned up. Alright, so now we got this piece clamped in place. We're basically going to tack, and maybe on the inside as well, tack. And then I'm going to probably grind down a little bit on the sides, and that's it for part one of the build. complete. We have the base of our frame. We have the seat mount. We have the rear section mount that's going to be built once I get the axle. And so it's a pretty solid start. In part 2, I'm going to build the rear section that's going to mount to the axle once I have the axle in place, as well as hopefully getting the engine mount in place as well, and maybe getting the engine on there. And then probably part 3 is going to be finishing it up. But pretty cool, nice little drift trike frame.